G'day guys, on this video I'm going to show you how to hook up I got an old second-hand based hydraulic steering system I'm going to fit to this boat. Show you how to hook the hoses up and how to get there out of the system, because I like to do things myself. Maybe you do too. Stick around to the end, you might pick some things up, because you should get a bit of belief that if I can do it you can too, because I'm remote and it's not easy to get the right shit, so you just got to make do with whatever you got. I live up in Arnhem Land, pretty remote, so it's pretty hard to get. If you haven't got it, you can't always buy it. You got to wait normally for it to come in on a barge or something, so sometimes you just got to make do without. First thing is to connect these lines up under the stem, under the console. So this little hydraulic fitting thing goes on first. I'll put that over. I'll probably put that on the screen. I forget what it's called. I'll have to AI that to find out what it's called. And then your little collar goes over, and as that comes on, that squeezes that little copper. I've forgotten what it's called again. Copper olive squash squeezes, because of the angle of it, squeezes onto that pipe, which makes it stay there. Now I've got to work out which one's which, and I'm sorry, I'm going to have to, if I connect these up backwards, I'm going to be... See here, these two lines, there's only two options. If they're wrong, I just got to swap them around. Because there's two here, obviously one turns it clockwise, one turns it left, one turns it right. I'm not 100% sure which one's which. There probably is a way to find out, but I'm just going to put them on and hope for the best. I actually did the same thing, fluke, putting them on, guessing with the accelerator and gear, and I fluked it, so I'll see if I can do it twice. That slides into a little hole, which I could probably show you on camera, but it's not rocket science. I'll pull the camera off in a minute and show you what I did, probably with the second one. Yeah, got to make sure that olive is right up, and then got to get that little bolt started, little nut, which I couldn't remember the name, but I'll put on the screen again. This part isn't really complicated, but I figured I'd just talk to you while I'm doing it. The hard part is bleeding it, getting the air out of the lines, which, starting from scratch with so much air in there, it's going to be a bit of a project, but I'll show you how I do it. I cheat, so I'll come back to this in a minute. When I start getting this on, I'll do a little video showing you what I'm doing here. Like I said, guys, none of this under here is really rocket science. We're just getting these hoses fitted in. Most important thing is line that hose up straight. These threads on these little copper compression nuts and the helm fittings are a bit soft, so make sure you get everything lined up. I try and get at least 2 or 3 turns by hand first. If you can't get that, it's normally not lined up on the helm fitting properly. That helm fitting is on the bottom, like comes off your bottom of your steering wheel there, and your pump. So yeah, line the hose up first, get it in the hole. It'll go in probably 1 centimetre. Then get your compression fitting, your olive push right forward, then your compression fitting, give it a few turns by hand, and then tighten it up with a spanner. Don't over tighten them, because they are pretty soft threads. You don't need a lot of thread. You just want, you don't need it overly tight, you just need it firm plus a little bit. You'll work it out, but just don't do it too tight. Righto guys, thank God we got that. Them little olives and nuts underneath are tightened up, so the hydraulic line's connected to the steering stem, which is your steering wheel, and then they've run to the back. Now I've got to work out how to bleed them. I'm probably going to have to get a few bits and pieces. I'll show you in a minute how I'm going to do that. Righto guys, I ducked to the shop, got some stuff. Didn't exactly get what I want, but living up here remote, you can't always get what you want. So I just got this little pump that I can keep the stem full. I've got this line, they'll go down to the back nipples at the back and come back. So as the oil comes out of that nipple, it can come through that line and then go back into the bottle. You'll see. Righto, guys, I'll do my best to explain this. So what I'm made up is the green lines that'll bring the oil back from out of the nipples, and so all the air can pass through and the oil can get back into that bottle so I can keep this stem full. So while I'm turning that stem, I'm pumping that little pump to keep oil in the stem, and then that oil's going down the other two lines back into the hydraulic system, out of there into the green line, back into the bottle. So we're doing a continuous circuit, and as that's going, it's pushing all the air out. You can see I've got that bottle there tied to the roof so it's not in the way. That pump, so I can keep pumping here and keep the stem full because you don't want air getting into that. And then I've got that line coming from the bottle, so it'll come back into the bottle there, see that? Then around over that chair that was annoying me earlier, down to the back and onto the two nipples for left and right down the back there. So we can turn it and it'll come out of them nipples. Yeah, see there, that hose goes onto that nipple at the back and one on the other side. It's on it as well. And then I'll just loosen them off so oil can come through. Hydraulic oil can come through so we can get all the air out. I'll loosen this side and the other side. Sorry, it's hard to see here but yeah, loosen both them. So as oil comes out, it'll go into that hose and it can be fed back up to the stem. Now I'll just turn the wheel one way and just keep turning it and oil will start flowing through. I just realised that I've got them lines hooked up backwards, so it's back in underneath here at the helm to switch them over. Luckily I sort of got onto it before there's too much oil in the lines. Always hate doing this job because always something goes wrong. So guys, what happened here, I had it hooked up backwards, so what was happening is if I turned right, the motor would go the opposite direction, so the boat would potentially, I'd go to turn right and the boat would go left. So easiest place to fix that is just just changing them around at the stem here. So obviously just swapping them, there's only two there, so switching them around, and then to get it so when I turn right the boat actually goes right. Same again, loosen these off about a turn so that oil can flow through them, and start turning that wheel again. So I had a few dramas with my bottle hanging there, so I got some tape to tape it up. You want that bottle not touching the wheel, really. It can be just touching, but you don't want it turning, obviously, when you turn the wheel. So we just get that, and then we start turning the wheel. You want that line that's in my hand there now that I'm poking back in the bottle, you want that to be coming through with no air in it. It's about here I realise that I haven't got enough oil and I'm going to have to go to the shop and get some. Well guys, we're in the middle of the wet season up here. It's hot as shit in there and I'm running a route, but we will get there. I've got to go and get some more hydraulic oil. I'm starting to realise that like Yo call this channel, you can too, because you'll be thinking if he can do it, I can too. Alright guys, I got some new oil. So I didn't have enough, I kept running out because it's very important not to let your oil run out inside that stem because you get air in and then you got to start again. So you got new oil, I'm going to top that up. Let's see how we go this time. Okay, so I've got it loose at both of them nipples. One way until I get all of the... See the air coming through the line? Keep pumping it in. It'd be better if it's gravity fed. But still lots of air. Just got to keep going till I get all the air out. See here guys, it's very important that I keep enough oil in that stem so that it doesn't suck any air. That's why I just keep pumping and trying to keep that reservoir pretty full. There's a fair bit in the reservoir, so you got a bit of leeway, but if it gets empty and a bit of air gets in, you basically got to start again. Alright, let's get most of the air out of there, I reckon. Here guys, I'm just tightening the nipple that oil was coming out of. Just work out which one it is the oil's been coming out of and tighten it. Now we're just doing the other side. Now we're doing the other side. I'll tighten that side nipple off. So basically guys, to do the other side, all we do is turn the steering wheel the other direction. It's the same process. Wait till all the oil is coming through along that return line with no air in it, and we should be good. So a lot of air coming through that line. See, this line's the one we got to make sure there's no, that return line, make sure there's no air coming out. No air coming through. Once you're happy that all the air's out, then it's time to just tighten that compression nut on that nipple, and should be good to go. If you got all the air out, the boat should start turning left and right. Alright, just tighten that nipple, see what happens. Look guys, if you're not quite happy with the way it's turning, you can just repeat that process a bit more on either side, and it gets a lot easier. Of course, now that the lines are fairly full, there could still be a little bit of air in, just a bit of a run and a bit of run through on each side, and you should get it all out and be good to go. Righto guys, if you made it this far, well done. Good effort, because I know I'm just learning as I'm going, but hopefully you learned something from that. So if you made it this far, give us a like and a subscribe. You can say then you're one of the first ones to subscribe, because this is my first long video, so it'll only get better from here, let's hope, and thank you.